Hello everyone, welcome to the second lecture of our Python programming series. In the last lecture, we learned about what Python was, how we can install Python into our systems, how we can install our code editor, that is VS Code for us, into our systems, and then we learned about the types of programming languages, and we learned about the print function and the input function, and we also practiced some questions. I hope that you practice these topics at home. And yeah, let's begin our second lecture. In this lecture, we shall cover variables. We'll learn what are variables and the various data types that variables have in Python, as well as how to convert one variable's data type to another data type. Yes, we can do that. And yeah, so first of all, what is a variable? A variable is a named storage location somewhere in our systems. You can also compare it to a storage container, or if I have to give you a real life analogy, you could think about the contacts you have saved in your mobile phones, right? Each each contact has its own name. You don't memorize the whole sequence of numbers, you just have to know the name to find the sequence of numbers. So that name in your contacts would be the variable, and the number that is stored in it is the information that that variable stores. So we'll open our VS Code and we'll look at it once. If we have, let's see, we'll write color. Now this color is our variable name, right? This is our variable name on the left hand side, and then we'll use an equal to sign. This is known as an assignment operator because it assigns the value to the variable, right? And since a since a color is a string of letters, it will belong to the string data type. I'll explain it to you in a bit. So I told you in the last lecture, whenever we want to use string data type, we have to put it inside double quotes, right? Otherwise it will throw an error. I'll show it to you. Just wait a minute. Let's see, color is equal to red. Now this color is our variable, and this red is the information stored inside that variable. Color red. And this is our assignment operator. We use this to assign values to our variables. You have to remember that the value on the right side is assigned to the left side, right to left, right? The red on the right side is assigned to the variable color, which is on the left side. This can be a little confusing for beginners, that's why I'm saying this. So as I was talking about, this will tie into our data types conversation later, but I'll just show it to you once. It came to my mind. If I try to assign a string without double quotes, and we run it, it throws an error. See? So let's kill this terminal once. So that's that, and obviously, do you know how we can print this? Do you know how we can display this output? I told you in the last lecture. Let's do it. We go, what are we supposed to do? Print, these spelling errors, print color. That's it. And we can run this and it has printed color. There we go. Yeah, so that's that. And we can, obviously I used a string here. We can also, for when we are doing calculations, we can assign the same type of variables that we use in mathematics, such as x, y, z. We use those, right? We can go x is equal to 5. We have assigned the value of 5 to x, right to left, 5 to x, right? So we can print these, print, and print color. By the way, if we assign two different print functions, it will print in the next line, right? For example, even if we, no, this is fine, yeah. And we can run this and we'll get 5 red. Look at it. See how we didn't get x and color. We didn't get the value. We got the values of the variables, not the variables instead. See how we didn't get x and color. We got 5 and red, right? Inside the print function, we put x and color. But what we got was the value stored inside it. This is how variables work, okay? And then let's go back to our PPT. As you can see, here's an example given. Name is equal to Alice. Name stores text. See? And age is equal to 20. Age stores a number. Since this is in double quotes, it stores a string. Then we go variable assignment. I told you, right? I just told you. The assignment operator equal to sign sets a value into a variable. We just tried this. Do you want me to try this example as well? Let's go. Let's just we'll just, yeah. So what was it written? Marks is equal to 65, and what was that? City is equal to Delhi. Print marks, print city. As I just told you, see, we don't have to put 65 or Delhi inside it. We'll put marks and city, but when you run it, you get the value stored inside it. You get 65 and Delhi. We're not getting marks and city even though we put marks and city inside the print function, right? So yeah, easy enough. You might be wondering, if we use the assignment operator as the equal to sign, then how are we going to compare two things, right? We use this equal to sign to compare things in mathematics, but here we're using it as an assignment operator. That is basically, this is where things differ between mathematics and programming, right? To compare two values in a programming language, we usually use double equal to signs, right? We write two equal to signs because one equal to sign is the assignment operator. We can't compare using that. we use two equal to signs. We'll learn that in our next lecture, which will be operators, right? It's very interesting. And then we have the rules for naming variables, of course. Variables can only start with letters or underscore. We cannot start a variable with a number. We just can't. I'll show you. I'll prove these rules to you, but yeah. And then we can't start them with spaces or special characters. And as I told you in the last lecture, Python is a case sensitive language. So a small p and a capital P are two entirely different things. Just like in the last lecture, we tried to print using print function with a capital P, and it just didn't work because it didn't exist. Only print with lowercase letters exists in Python, right? Just remember, Python is a case sensitive language. Okay, as you can see, these are some valid variable names: student underscore name, age, marks 1. You can use numbers in the variable names, but they must not be at the start, okay? And these will be invalid. One name, because we put 1 in the front. Student hyphen name, you can't use hyphen. Then my name, you used a space here. You can't use spaces here. Hyphen is characterized as a special character, so you can't use a hyphen here, right? I'll show them to you. Example. Let's open a new terminal. I just don't like clutter much. Oh, we can also comment this. I taught you in the last lecture, right? Comments are very useful. Let's see. If I first, let's use a valid name, right? Underscore what? Let's use underscore fruit. So yeah, here we used an underscore at the beginning as of a variable name, and it worked. We assigned apple right to fruit left, and it worked. We put underscore fruit inside print, and we got the value stored in underscore fruit, which is apple, right? So we'll just put this inside comments. And we can, obviously, as I showed you earlier, you can start with an alphabet, right? It's not that you can't, as I was talking about case sensitivity in Python, you can use capital letters and small letters, but just know that those will be two entirely different things, right? Those will not be treated as the same variable, they will be treated as two very different variables. We'll try them once. Let's see. City with a capital C is equal to, let's use Paris. Oh dear. And then city with a small c, yeah, city with a small c, lowercase c, small c, what is small c, and we'll type Delhi. And if we, because it is case sensitive, these are not the same things, okay? City with a capital C and city with a small c are two different values. If we print city with a lowercase c, again I'm saying small c, oh god. If we print city with a lowercase c, we will not get Paris, we'll only get Delhi. And if we print city with a uppercase C, we will get Paris and not Delhi, right? Two different things. City and print city with a lowercase c. If we run it, see, city with uppercase C, Paris, city with lowercase c, Delhi. That's that. And now let us try. As I told you, you cannot use numbers at the beginning of a variable name. So let me just prove that to you, just in case you think I'm lying. We start with 8 colors. I don't know why I'm using colors, but yeah. 8 colors is equal to red, yellow. I'm not going to type 8 colors here, okay? I just use that for no reason. And if we try to run this, it throws an error. It's not going to work, right? We try to print this, and run. See, it doesn't work. It doesn't give us our value that we wanted it to print, right? But we can use numbers inside the variable name. Like, we can't start with numbers, but we can use them. If I write, for example, if I start with an alphabet and then I write a number, this will work, okay? Yellow, red. Again, I'm not going to type 8 colors, bro. And if we run this, see, it didn't give us an error. And we can print it if we want. Colors 8. And will it work? Will it work? Let's see. Run. And yeah, we got the value stored inside colors 8, yellow and red, yellow and red. It's so confusing like this. Let me just. So yeah, these are some of our rules for naming variables. You just have to keep this in mind. Alright, we didn't try with spaces, right? Let's just, since we're trying everything anyways, let's just try this too. If we try to leave a space in a variable name, right? I have no idea how to name things. Bear with me, please. Maybe. And we assign 7 to it. So let's just assign 7 to it. And if we try to print maybe, see, we named it maybe, and we use our assignment operator 7. And so technically, if we were allowed to use spaces, then 7 should be stored inside maybe. But if we try to print this, we run this code, we get an error. Invalid syntax, you can see it. If we do with no spaces, or if you can use an underscore, if you want to distinguish between two words in a single variable name for any purpose, you can just use an underscore to separate them, right? That is valid. You can start with an underscore, you can use underscore inside the variable name, and if we do the same thing, see, the only difference is we didn't use space. Do you do this, or if we just leave no space at all and we try to print these, maybe do you think these will work? Maybe they'll work. Oh, I'll just delete these. I'm sorry. Yeah, we get 7 7. Oh yeah, this is also something that you can do if you want to print a bunch of things together. Like, you don't have to print put the print function in a new line every time to print multiple things, right? You can just put a comma inside the between the two variables and this can work. You can use multiple things, like as many as you want. If I put x is equal to 5 and then I put x here and I try to print it 775. See, if you want to print it in a single line, you can put commas between the variables in a single print function. If you put it in a new print function, it will basically be printed in the next line, right? Why am I writing Python? So as you can see, if you put it inside different print functions, then it will be printed, the second one will be printed in the next line. And let's go and then yeah, these three are printed in three different lines. So that's that. And as you could see, if I don't put this comma between these multiple print functions here, you'll get an error, right? That's why it's easier to just press enter and just put the next function in a new line. Yeah, you get an error, invalid syntax. But if without putting a comma, if you put it in the next line, then it works just fine, right? Yeah, I hope you got that. And let's move on from variable names to case sensitivity. We already talked about that. Here, age with an lowercase a and age with a uppercase a are two entirely different things for Python, right? They are not the same. So don't make any mistakes with this. These are the silly mistakes we make sometimes. These are two separate variables, right? That's basically what case sensitivity is. Now we move on to our next very important topic, data types in Python. There, different kinds of information need to be stored differently. For example, 19 is a number and 3.14, if we have 3.14, then it has a decimal in it, right? It's a decimal number. We can't store those two things in the same variable because for different types of calculations we might have different requirements. It will just be confusing, right? Otherwise, so Python basically categorizes, Python and pretty much all other programming languages, like if we just learn these variable names, many other programming languages use similar systems, right? Mostly there's only a syntax difference. So the main data types in Python are int, float, String, which we write is str, don't write string, str, right? And bool. Bool, I'll talk about it in a bit, right? So int, whole numbers, 25, 35, 1, 2, right? Then float is basically for decimal numbers. String, I already told you a lot about strings already, alphabets and everything. And then bool is for true or false values. Boolean, bool is boolean, right? And let's move on to our integer. An integer is just a whole number without the fractional part, right? There are no decimal points. And yeah, if you put a decimal point number inside inside an int variable, it will only take the whole number and it will ignore the decimal. But you see, I told you in the last lecture also, right? In Python, you don't have to explicitly declare the data types. In other programming languages, you usually do, but Python detects it automatically. For example, we have been typing age is equal to this, color is equal to that. We didn't write str string color is equal to this. We didn't have to do all of that. We just wrote color is equal to this, and Python picked it up on itself, right? And we didn't write int x is equal to 5. We just wrote x is equal to 5. Easy. So yeah, we'll just let's just delete all of this. We don't need it anymore. Uh, Ignore these. I just wrote them for basically no reason. As we were, yeah. So our first data type, yeah, int. As I told you, x is equal to 25. Then age is equal to 35, and temperature, wow, -5, right? These are some integer values. They can also be bigger, longer, right? If we write, this is why you should put commas when you're writing these things. Yeah. So if we try to print these, let's just print them in, yeah, no, nothing. And print age. By the way, it doesn't matter, like, if you don't have to print it every time. I'm just showing it to you because it displays on the terminal. It's not like if you write it then you have to print it. Just throwing that out there. Run it, and you get the value stored in x and age, 25, 35. And then we can print the rest as well. We can print temperature, print billion, run. Yeah, so I forget things too sometimes, I accidentally, when I put commas here, I accidentally turned this into a tuple, which is a whole another thing, right? So yeah, you can't just put commas there. And yes, so we'll print it without commas, and that's that. If we put if I put commas in this, then it took us as a tuple. I'll explain to you what tuples are in our future lectures. They are also a type of data type in Python. I'm starting from the most basic data types, and I'll explain. There's a lot, right? There's more, but they're a little complicated for you right now, so I'll explain those in the future, right? So that's it for integers. Then we move on to float. Float are for decimal values, right? And for example, float would be height is equal to 5.9. 5.9 decimal. This is a float. If it was 59, it would be integer, but 5.9 a float. Then price is equal to 249.99, right? Float. So do you want to do you want me to try it out once? If we do x is equal to 2.5, this is valid and this is a float value, right? X int, yeah. So very easy. Then string, I have already been yapping about this already. Stores text, string store text, and they use single or double quotes. Yes, I have been using double quotes. It's preferred if you use double quotes because I'll show it to you, right? Why we prefer to use double quotes in a string, right? First, I'll show you how you can indeed print it with a single quotes. Again, I'm going to come up with the city name because that's just how I am. Let's go Paris and single quotes this time. Will it print? Will it print? What do you think? We'll run it. And we get Paris, right? So that's that. Now, why I was going to tell you why we prefer to put it in double quotes. Let's try typing a sentence, right? Let's name this variable introduction is equal to, let's I'll show you what happens if you put it in single quotes. Like if it's a single word or if it's a single letter, small things in single quotes, those are perfectly fine. But if we put a long sentence inside single quotes, it becomes a little confusing. I'll show you. My name's, see, it's already becoming a problem. My name's Naya. See, are you looking at what's happening here? It took this single quote of my names, right? It took this single quote as the ending for it, or as the ending quote for the string. So the string ended at name and it didn't take the rest of the thing. If I type something like weather and I use single quote and I want to say it's hot today, right? I'll just write it's hot today. Again, the moment I write its, right, apostrophe s, as soon as I write it, um, it takes it as the closing quote for the string, and it won't take the rest of the value. If I try to print this right now, let's just put this in our good old comments. And if I try to print this weather variable now, what do you think will happen? Throws an error, invalid syntax. That's why it's better to make it a habit to use double quotes, right? If I put this same thing inside double quotes now, and let's just rewrite it, okay? It just is easier to look at it that way. Weather is equal to double quotes, it's hot today. As you can see, if you put it in double quotes, this apostrophe does not end our string, right? And if we try to print this, print weather, do you think it will throw an error anymore? It won't, which prints the value stored inside this variable. It prints this string, it's hot today, right? It's working. So yeah, that's why we prefer double quotes. As it's written here, both work, but it's just easier to use double quotes everywhere. If it's a single word, then you can use single quotes, that's fine. But beginners get confused sometimes. Then boolean. Boolean is basically true or false, right? Boolean, true, it's either true or either false. So these are the only two values boolean stores, right? It won't store a number or anything. Is for example, it's given here, is underscore student is equal to true, is underscore logged in is equal to false. If we write anything else other than true or false here, then it won't be a boolean anymore, right? This is simple enough. Do you want to try it? Let's try it. Come back our comments. We'll just write so if we do hot is equal to true. See, we didn't use a thing to note, we didn't use quotation marks here, right? We didn't use single quotes, we didn't use double quotes, even though we typed alphabets, letters, right? Let's see if it throws an error though. It doesn't, it just works, because true and false, if you assign it to anything, it takes it as boolean value, not string value. If I write anything else in string here, true with a lowercase t, it doesn't work. Why is that? Can you remember why is that? I just told you. Take a moment to remember. Yes, because Python is a case sensitive language. True with a uppercase T is taken as a boolean value, but the same word true with a lowercase t, it's not defined in Python. It doesn't exist like that. This is a string now. If I put it inside quotes, then it will work, because this has become a string, not a boolean. True with a capital T that will work because that is defined in Python. Python is case sensitive. Repeat after me. Python is a case sensitive language. These are mistakes that you can make. You might think, oh, I'm assigning true to it, so it should work, but it wouldn't. Same way, if we put true with capital T was taken as a boolean value, but if we put inside quotation marks, now it's a string. Now it isn't a boolean value anymore. It has become a string because we put it inside quotation marks. Right? It works, but it's a string now. And if we print this thing, print hot, what do you think the output will be? True. It prints true just fine. Lowercase t doesn't work. The spellings. Uppercase t, boolean, works. See? And oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. The same way we can use false. Things you do while programming. Cold is equal to false. If I use it with a lowercase f and I try to print it, I'll print it too, right? Print cold. We are also practicing our variables in a way like this, because see, we didn't if we want to print the true from hot here, we don't write print true, we are writing print hot, because the variable hot stores the value true. And here if we try to print this thing, error. But if we use false with a capital F, it works. True, false. Right? That's about it for Boolean values. And then you can also, like, you must be thinking, right, that if we don't have to write the type in front of the variable, how can we prove that we are indeed writing the, like, how can we prove that indeed our x is equal to 25 is an integer type only and our hot is equal to true is a boolean? There is a function known as a type function in Python, right? And if there is a random variable, right, and it has a value and we want to know its type, we can just use this function, and it's very easy to use. If we use, see, print type of, and inside these brackets after type we'll write, let's write hot, type of hot, print type of this variable, and we run it. See, here it is. We get bool or boolean, we get its type, and hence prove that hot indeed stores a boolean value. And the same way, if we want to know the type of value that cold holds, we can just run it here. And yeah, isn't it fun? You should try it yourself, right? You should try it on your own systems too. Let's go comment this. I'm pretty sure there is a method to comment this all at once, but I'm just doing it. I'm stubborn, It's me. Yeah. Forget it, I'll just technically we do have a type function heading here. Let's use that instead. uh, shall we try to print the types of all the variables that we learned today? Let's go ahead and do something like, wait, age is equal to why am I thinking so much on this? Age is equal to 200, and now what is 200? 200 is a whole number, right? It's not a decimal number. So 200, and if we want to print its type, right? Print type, because we want to print its type, and inside the brackets after type we write the variable name of the variable of which we want to know the type. I don't know what English that was, please bear with me. Run code, and yeah, we got int. See, I wasn't lying to you. 200 is an integer, and we are storing it inside this. So yeah, just proves that this variable was indeed storing an integer value. You can also, again with the age, oh god, what else can we print? uh Forget it, let's just do x, right? Easy, we'll take it easy. 20 is a whole number, thus it belongs to int, and we want to print the type of x, and we run it, and yeah, we got class int. So we have done it for int, and then we can try, what should we put in the decimals? Let's just, no. hmm what were we using for, wait, what were we using as the type for example for float? Height, price. Let's use price, right? Yeah, let's use price is equal to 240.999. We used a point. What type of variable is this now? Yep, it's a float variable. So we want to print the type of this variable price. We'll write print type of price, and we run it, and we get, what do we get here? Float. It's a float. I'm not lying to you, it is a float. Something else, let's just use a random variable. 62.2, and we want to print its type. Print type of y, and we run it. Float. See, then we can try with a string. What was the example we used in string? Let's see. Name. Let's try name. Okay, name is equal to single quotes, double quotes, use anything you like, because we are just putting a single name here. Name Alice, print type of the variable name, and we run it and we get str. What does str stand for? String, right? We won't get string here, it's str. So yeah, then if we want to write a whole sentence and print its type, we'll use weather again. Like I said, I'm not very good at naming things. The weather is nice today. Let's use pleasant instead. The weather is pleasant today. And long sentence, we can still print its type with just a little function, print type of the variable weather, and we run it, class str, we get str for string. Then boolean, since we are doing it anyway, let's just keep up the sequence and do this. Hot, lowercase, uppercase, do you remember it? Uppercase. If you type it with a lowercase, it becomes a string, because lowercase and uppercase are different in Python, right? I know I keep repeating this, but you can still forget it sometimes, right? Hot, true, cold, false. Wait, I think we did the same thing last time, so this time let's do cold, true, and hot, false. False with a capital F. I'll repeat this until it's drilled into your head. And we want to print the type. I'll just clear this terminal once. Just new terminal. There's also a whole key combination to get a new terminal, but I just prefer it this way. So print type of the variable hot, bool for boolean, right? And true is also a part of, true and false both are part of boolean. Even if we print the one with value true, we'll still get bool. So let's try it. Print type of, oh my god, my brain, I'm sorry. We'll do print type of cold, and we run this code and we get bool, right? So this is a little function that you can use if there is a variable given and you don't know its type and you want to know its type for whatever reason. You can just use print bracket type. Oh, I need to disable this extension, it's annoying me. Print bracket type and then bracket for the function type, a function inside a function, see, then the variable name, close it and close the bracket. See, if you are practicing or if you're giving if you're giving a written exam, then you have to make sure that you close the brackets, right? Because in code editors they just close the bracket for us, but if you're writing it, you have to make sure to close the bracket. Sometimes you can even count it, you can count one bracket open, one bracket open, one bracket close, two bracket close, right? 1 2 1 2. For a small code it wouldn't make sense, but when there are huge codes, right, it becomes confusing. So you can just, like I told you, count it. Open bracket 1, open bracket 2, two brackets are open. Are two brackets closed? Yes, they are. 1 2. So yeah, that was just a little, I tend to get sidetracked. That's it for our type. Then, oh yes, the input function always returns a string. This is also, functions have return times and all. I'll explain it to you in the future when I'm explaining functions to you, but just remember this. The function input returns a string, right? Its return type is string. So if we want to, you know what? Nice thing, nice little thing to try. We have, what was the example given here? Yeah, age. Again, age. Why is age is equal to input? Please enter your age. Print age. So if we run this and enter your age, I told you in the last lecture I'm a vampire apparently. So enter, and yeah, it's printed 200 because my age is 200. So as I was saying, all functions have return types. Not all functions. It's a vast topic. I'll explain it to you when I'm explaining functions to you, but yes, functions have return types, and the return type of input is string, and we can check this using print. What's the next step? Type of age. Why did we type age here instead of this input? Because age is storing this input, right? This variable age is storing this input. Like I said, right to left assignment, right? So we write print type of age, not print type of input. Okay, done it. Please enter your age 200, and yeah, printed our age, and then printed the type of the variable age, which is string, because the return type of input is string. Since we printed the return type of input function, is there perhaps a return type for the print function as well? Shall we try it? Print type of print hello, right? Because print has to store something. And we run it, and we get class none type. So we can print the type of print function, but it's basically none type, right? It doesn't actually have a type. It's none type. Okay, that was just a tangent that I went on. Then I told you about type conversion. Now let's do our next topic, which is type conversion. As I told you in the beginning of the lecture, in Python you can convert one variable type to variable type. Wow. As I told you, you can convert one data type into another data type. You can convert int into float, float into int, string into bool, bool into string. We did that, right? When we were doing the example of hot and cold, when we put it inside double quotes, the data type was changed, right? I'll just show it to you once. We'll learn this with an example because it might look confusing here, right? It does look confusing here. So we'll just do it with the help of our examples. Let me clear this thing. New terminal. Just delete this. Oh, we have a heading for type conversion. If we use, I'll just show it to you, right? Age is equal to input. Please enter your age. Easy, right? So basically, if we are performing calculations, right? If there is a program that says write a program to add 5 years to the user's age, right? We'll take the age from the user and we want to add 5 years to it, right? So what do you think, how do you think we should approach this, right? Naturally we'll write print and no, we can just write, we can make a new variable so that you don't get confused. Go new age is equal to this age stores the input, right? If I input 35, then the value of this age will become 35. So we can just use age here. This is something I'll explain it again to you in operators and all, but stick it for now. It's pretty easy, right? Age plus we want to add 5 years to it as per our program's instructions, and we print the new age. We'll write our variable new age. So it should work, right? Because we took the input from the user 35. We were meant to write a program to add 5 years to the user's age, so we took our input and then we made a new variable in which we added 5 years to the input that we got, and then we are trying to print that new variable, right? It should work. Enter your age 35. Oh, we're getting an error. And as you can see, it says here type error, can only concatenate string, not int to string. You can't add an int and string, it's saying. But why is that happening? We took our input as an integer though. We took our input as 35. Remember what I just taught you? What is the return type of input? I just told you that. Yes, it's a string. The return type of input is a string value. I'll show it to you again to reinforce it into your memory. Print type of age it's string. Return type of input is string. So why is this thing happening? Because the return type was string. This is basically like adding, this is to the computer, it basically looks like we're adding let's see, the word apple to 5, right? Or it basically looks like 35 plus 5. This is a string and this is an integer. We can't add these. The system is taking this as a string, the age as a string, because we put the value of input in it, and the return type of input is a string. So what do we do now? We were supposed to add 5 years to the age of the user. Can we not do that now? No, we can do it. We'll just have to do something like when we are taking the input, right? We'll just write int close bracket, two brackets open, two brackets close, right? So we basically write int in front of input, and what does this do? This is type conversion. This converts this entire thing into an integer. So can we add two integers? Yes, we can. This is now no longer a string. This is now an integer. So I'll show you. Wait. Let's put this in comments again. Let's try print type of age. Okay, we done it. Please enter your age. 5 class int. Earlier it was giving us class string. Now it's giving us class int. What changed? We put int in front of it, right? This is how type conversion is done. And I also told you the reason for it, this entire program, right? So yes. Now will our program to add 5 years to the user's age work? Yes, it will. It should. I'll just clear this. Oh my god. I'm sorry, I'm just very particular about this. No terminal. And yes. Shall we try this thing? Your age 35. Oh, it worked. See? It added 5 years to 35. So now our new age is 40. That's why we do type conversion, and that's how we do type conversion. Just write the type you want to convert it into in front, and then enclose the rest of the information inside brackets, right? That's it. It's easy, right? It looks difficult when you just look at it like this without trying it, but once you try it, it's very easy. You should also try it on your systems once. See? Why convert types? I already told you, but we'll read this anyways. Operations depend on correct types. See? Oh, this ended up being the exact same example we used, right? Input age plus 5. Can't do it, gives error because input's return type is string plus int doesn't work. We put int in front of it. Now we do age plus 5. Works because this entire thing is now an integer plus integer works. So that's that. And common beginner's mistakes, I already told you. We can sometimes forget that input returns a string, and variable names can be invalid. Don't start with numbers. Then strings and integers, a little confusing in the beginning. And this, I told you about it when we were talking about the assignment operator, right? In programming, if we want to compare two values, we use double equal to signs, not a single equal to. Okay, single equal to is assignment operator, and this is comparison operator, right? And then you can do these practice questions on your own. These are very easy. We'll start from the start. Create variables, name, age, city, print them. Find the data type of each variable. Take two integers from user and print their sum. Take a decimal input, print double its value. Convert an integer to string, print its type. You can do this, right? So do you want me to solve these? Can Okay, let's solve these ones, right? But you should try it on your own first, right? Try these on your own first and pause the video, try these and then come back, okay? You can do it. New terminal, and yeah. So the first question was to create variables to store our name, age and city. How should we do that? Age is equal to 5, name is equal to, name is a string, so we put it inside our quotation marks, Alice, and then name, age, city again. City is also string, obviously. We'll just use Paris. Now print all of these. Print age, print name, print city. Run it. So that's our first question. And also write the question here. Question 1. Then what was our second question? Find the data type of each variable. That's easy, we just learned it. Print, we can just use this, right? No, that would be, okay, never mind. So what do we have to do to print the data type? Print, what function do we use? Type of age, print type of name, print type of city. We run this and we get the types int, string, and that's that. Easy, right? Then take two integers from user and print their sum. This is also easy. What do we use? What function do we use to take the input from the user? Input function. So we can use these same things, right? Let's go ahead and just change it here, right? It's easier for us. What function do we use? Input. Enter your age, and then we can edit this as well. Input, enter your name, input, enter your city, and we run this. Enter your age, enter your name, enter your city, and just enter. It prints our age, name, city, and the types. As you can see, the type for age is now coming as a string. Earlier the type for age was coming as int, now it's coming as string. Why is it coming as string? Because the return type of input is a string. If we want it to return an integer for whatever reason, we just use type conversion. We type int in front of input, put input inside the brackets, and if we run it now, I just have to type once again, 200. And if we press enter now we are getting the type as int. Okay, put it into your head, the return type of input is a string. I'm telling it to you again and again because I forget. Next question, take a decimal input, print double its value. Can do that. Wait, was it that? Take two integers from user and print their sum. Okay. So we can, I think that was the question we were going to do, but then so take two inputs from the user, right? Enter your age. Oh, never mind. Let's not use age. Let's just use x and y. Why would you add our age? X is equal to input, enter value. Y is equal to input, enter value. Okay. So we are supposed to print the sum of x and y. You can either, I'll explain it to you in the next video where we study operators, but you can either assign it to a new variable or you can just print it. But I'll assign it to a new variable called sum x plus y, and then we do print sum. So do you think that this will print the sum of whatever value we give for x and y? Do you think I have made an error here? Let's see. Okay, we'll run this. Set the value 7. So it should give us the value of sum, and sum stores the sum of x and y. So we should get that, right? We should get 13. But we are getting 67. What? What's happening? Yes, the thing that I have been repeating again and again. The return type of input is string. So this basically concatenated the strings. It joined together two strings. You know, when we were trying to add string and int, it was giving these are two different data types and we can't add these, right? Since these 6 and 7 are now two strings, we can concatenate them. We can't add them, but we can concatenate them. So how do we fix this? Type conversion. We use int input. X is equal to int input, right? And y also is equal to int input. If we just put int in one, it's going to throw an error. It won't even concatenate it this time. So yeah, press and run, and we type 6, 7. Let's go. And yes, it's adding it. It's giving us 13 now. See, this is why I keep saying return type of input is a string. So that's that. As for our next question, take a decimal input, print double its value. Okay, just remove this and clear this terminal. X is equal to 1.21. Wait, do you want to take the user input for this? We can do input, enter a decimal, and if we do this, do you think we'll get a decimal? No, we won't. We'll get a string with which we can't do addition. Why? Because the return type of input is a string. So how do we get a decimal here? We'll convert this input into a float. We were converting it into int because we wanted our result to be integer. Now we want it to be decimal. For decimal, the data type is float. So we convert this from a string to a float type. Now we can move on, and we can, how do we double it? We can just multiply it with true. Print number into 2. The hell is number, bro? I mean print x into 2, and says enter a decimal. I'll enter 1.14, enter, and it gives double of that. See, easy. Next question is convert a integer to string and print its type. Okay. Let's just open a new terminal at this point, bro. Okay, last question for the day. We will convert an integer into a string and print its type. First, let's take an integer, number is equal to 100. We took an integer, let's take it as 20, okay, smaller number. So number is equal to 20, integer. Now we want to convert it into a string. How do we do that? We'll just assign a new variable here. Let's just name it text is equal to, will we write string or will we write str? Str number. Now we converted, this converts our number, which was an integer, into a string, right? And how can we prove it? Well, what do we use to print the type of our variable, the data type of our variable? We use type of function. So we'll just print type of text. So we run it and we get string. We successfully converted our integer into a string. You can also, like later, you can also try it with different data types and you can experiment around with it. See, very easy. Looks hard at first, but it's easy. And yeah, what have we covered today? Today we learned what variables were, the naming rules for variables. We learned about the different data types in Python. We learned about the type of function with which we can find out the data type of our variables. We learned that the return type of our input function is a string, and we also learned how to convert one data type into another data type. So that's it for our second lesson. So yeah, in the next lecture we'll learn what operators are and how to use them. So thank you.